Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus arcade video. Today this is going to be a bit of a different arcade video, and we're going to take a look at to see what it looks like when a Namco System ES3 boots up. And the only reason I'm doing a video on this is because it's actually a fairly long boot up process, which I was surprised, and I just figured to show anybody who's not seen this how long it takes to actually boot one of these systems. But the general gist of a Namco System ES3 is basically it's a computer. This particular ES3X is running Tekken 7 Fated Retribution, and the specifications include a GeForce 760, 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, and an i5 3500 processor at 3 gigahertz. So it's a fairly, fairly high-spec system, considering this system came out in like 2015. You might look at it today in 2021 and think it's not that much, but it's still a pretty good system. And now the way that the system works is it runs Windows 7 Japanese version, but the thing is it's not just going to ever boot to a desktop and you don't have to double click Tekken 7 as a program like you would on your computer at home. Basically what happens here is the whole system is locked down with BitLocker encryption. So, you name it. All of the hardware, if the configuration changes, you will break the BitLocker and the system will not boot like it should. So as you can see, what it's doing right now is it's running Windows PowerShell, which takes care of a lot of the functions that have to be done before you get into the Tekken 7 game. So it has to check the system settings, it has to apply all the system settings, it has to make sure that nothing is changed, it has to mount the game image, it has to then eventually, once everything checks out, it will eventually just run the game, and sure enough you'll be able to play the game. But what you're basically seeing it doing right now is the procedure that it has to do every time that you turn this system on for the first time. Now, as long as you don't turn the system off, let's say if you have an arcade that generally a lot of people visit and maybe you don't turn the machines off too much, it doesn't have to do this but on a cold boot basically, so no, and as you can see right now, if you look right now, it is mounting the game image. So there actually is a partition on the hard drive that has the game on it. So basically what it did is you'll see it checking for update, there is no update, then it eventually, once everything is good, it mounted the game image. So what it would be doing is, let's say if this ES3 were network connected, when it goes to that checking for an update, it would be pulling from the network and look for an update. And if, let's say, you're not connected to the network and you put an update dongle into the second USB port, it'd be looking for an update in that dongle, and then if it found it, it would pull that update from the dongle and then update the system, and I'm sure it would show like Tekken update or program or something. My system actually came with an update dongle, but it was just the one that actually had been used for the vanilla Tekken 7 system to update it to Fated Retribution, or as it is typically called, Round 1. That's what they typically call the Fated Retribution update for Tekken 7. So if you ever see just one that says Tekken 7 Fated Retribution, that's considered Round 1. Or if you see the actual program dongle it'll say something to the extent of JP2, which is Japanese version 2. And that's where it starts to create a bit of a misnomer. It's kind of like how Dynasty Warriors was in Japan and America, how in America, Dynasty Warriors, the fighting game for PlayStation, was considered a game, and then the first Musou game, you know, the one where you're like running around and attacking everybody, is considered Dynasty Warriors 2. Whereas in Japan, the first Musou game was considered the first game in the series, so the numbering is inconsistent. The only reason I'm mentioning that is I'm comparing that to when you look at update JP2, it's considered update round 1, and then update JP3 would be update round 2. And I've actually seen the screen on Tekken 7, and it will actually say the words round 2 on it. So if you have a Tekken 7 machine that's been updated, it will show that it is on that update. And I would imagine if you can read the text, I'm not sure how legible it is on the screen through this video, the revision 1.2, which this system is running, would be considerably higher depending on how updated your system was. But for now, this system will only be running the first update, which is Fated Retribution, which added Akuma, and I would imagine a slew of new balancing tweaks and everything, and it changed the movie to the one that you will see in my intros video that shows Heihachi and Akuma fighting, as opposed to the original Tekken 7 intro, which was a bit different than that. And as you can see now, after all of that, the Tekken 7 Fated Retribution finally launched. And then, just like any computer program, it's going to take a little while to come up. And just like Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Unlimited, it's now going to do that part where it has to do its actual game loading process. So at this point, Windows is loaded, BitLocker is all verified, and basically we're in the program itself like you would on those older PS3 baseboards, and you're now seeing the program doing all its loading. Now, if for some reason I had already loaded the program and I had to go into the test mode, this process after getting out of the test mode would still come up, but it would just, how do I want to say it? It would just not take as long. Like if you had seen my previous videos for Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2, they basically do the same thing. The process of just loading it here with the name of the game and everything only takes the longest on the first boot, because it probably only like checks some stuff to make sure they're loaded into memory and everything and that the program is functioning right. Whereas the first time, it has to load everything into memory, it has to check this or that or all kinds of stuff. The only unfortunate part is it doesn't actually tell us what it's doing, so we're just here to look at the screen and look at a timer and a percentage point, but it's more or less, as I said, the same thing as the previous games. And now this board I had actually received, today it's Tuesday, the February 23rd of 2021. I received this on last Thursday, the 18th, so basically what you'll be seeing is my initial gameplays of Tekken 7 in the next couple days. And that's basically a cold boot from the very beginning. And I'm going to pan down the camera in about a second here and show you that this is legitimately a Namco System ES3. But if you found that interesting, that was okay. My next videos will be showing the actual game and some of the intros and some of the attract mode and everything. But this has been another Game Nexus Arcade Mode video, and I shall see you later. Bye. And see, there's the ES3.